This program is brought to you by the Kentucky Small Business Development Center in Louisville. We provide the professional expertise, tools, and information necessary to help you make sound business decisions. Thank you to the U.S. Small Business Administration for co-sponsoring our program and to our host organization, the University of Kentucky. Contact us at 502-625-0123 to get started.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Dave Etkin. I'm the director here of the Louisville Small Business Development Center. Hope you're having a good Tuesday, and thanks for joining us for another Toolkit Tuesday. We're also co-sponsored with SCORE, our sister organization. So if you need some, like to check them out, they're at score-louisville.org, I think. And so today we have a great guest, Amanda Berry, who is with FranNet. FranNet is a great organization. If you are, you're ready for a change, you might want to go into business on your own. You're not quite sure what you want to do, but FranNet has a lot of tools that kind of help you point in the right direction, kind of figure out what you would be really good at. Business ownership is a big step, and certain businesses aren't right for everybody, but trying to figure out something that will help you to be successful and be happy in is super important. And today I have Amanda Berry, who is the CEO of FranNet, and she is a great resource. She has been in the business world for a long time, and we've worked together, and she has tons of expertise, and she'll be sharing with some tools that she has to kind of help figure out what be your best entrepreneurial profile that you can use to kind of pick where you should look as far as business opportunities, right, Amanda?
Thanks, Dave. Thank you to the SBDC for having me today. I really, really appreciate it. It's a wonderful organization. If you are interested in business ownership in general, and you're just looking for resources or help, you cannot go wrong with the Small Business Development Center and with Dave and his team. They've helped me personally and the many businesses that I have started. And the fact that Louisville is such a welcoming community to entrepreneurs it's really exciting, and it's really special. So thanks for having me, Dave. I appreciate it.
Well, we're so glad you're here, because this is a great question. We get inquiries all the time. People want to start in a business, and they want to do it, but they're not sure where to start. And you have the tools to kind of help answer that question.
Yeah, so thank you so much. So today, I thought that one thing that entrepreneurs always ask me about is, how do I know which business to start? How do I know what's right for me? And that's really something that we can help with. And I'm really excited to share my presentation with you today. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right. And we will eventually get started. There we go. And can you see me? Can you see my screen?
You're all good.
Perfect. Excellent. So to participants today, please, guys, I do want this to be pretty interactive. Feel free to type in the chat any questions that you have as we go through this. I really would like to hear your feedback, and I love doing these presentations. So if you guys don't talk to me, I will talk to you all day long. So what is your business DNA? That is the topic of today. I always like to start out just with a quick introduction of myself. That is me, Amanda. I do own a company called FranNet, and I'll get into what that is in a moment. I am born and raised here in the Louisville, Kentucky area. I am married to my wonderful husband, Kyle. That's him right there. If you knew that I put his picture in these presentations, he might divorce me. We've only been married for 18 years, so don't tell him. But we love living here in Louisville. We lived all over. My husband was military, so we've moved around the country quite a bit. We always found our way back to Kentucky. I absolutely love the state, and I love the city. I'm very proud to be from here. My husband and I do not have any human children. We do have 2 fur children, which I always have to show off anytime I do a presentation. That's our first baby right there, Eliza. That's our second baby, Jury. I pretty much work to afford their Chewy.com boxes. And that's really just a little bit about me, because I think why you want to go into business is equally as important as the business that you choose. And for me, having the fun and flexibility and time to be with my family, to be with my dogs, and to travel when we're able to was really, really important to me. So again, a little bit about me, born and raised here in Louisville. My husband joined the military right out of high school, and I followed him, and we got to travel the country a little bit with his job. We came back to Louisville, where I went to the University of Louisville for my undergraduate degree, where I studied and majored in the very widely used undergraduate study of archaeology. I thought I was going to be Indiana Jones when I grew up. Turns out that's not a real job. So I say this to say my businesses today have nothing to do with my education necessarily. And I think that's true for a lot of people. So don't ever get discouraged just because you don't have an MBA or you don't have a degree in whatever business you're trying to go into. I certainly did not. And then after I got my degree in archaeology and anthropology, I actually went and worked for the federal government for 10 years with the Department of Veteran Affairs. And I loved my job and I loved my mission. And I coached a lot of employees in that job on career and career development. What do they do next in their jobs? So I really loved that aspect of what I did, and I translated that into the business that I do today. So it's really cool, and it's been quite a journey, and it's not one that I ever thought that I would take. I think that's probably my favorite part about it being an entrepreneur is you never know what you're going to do or what you're going to get into or how it's going to end, but it is certainly a journey. So FranNet, that is my company. As Dave said, I deal mostly with franchises. That is kind of my expertise. FranNet is kind of the match.com or the eHarmony of the franchise world. We help match people that are looking for a business to a business looking for an owner. We are a free service, much like the SCORE and FCDC are. And it's really our job to make sure that you are investing in a business that is right for you, for your family, and for your goals. And that's really what we're going to dig into today is what is your business DNA and how does that translate into a successful business for you? So that's what we're going to talk about. Why go into business in the first place? Your personality traits and types, what's out there, the things that I personally see when helping people go into a business, other considerations, next steps, and then how do you know what you are? One thing that I can tell you just about human behavior in general is we think that we are a certain way, but maybe that's not actually how we translate or come across. And how do you bridge that gap and understand really who you are, where you're at, and what your skill set is? And I see that a lot as well. And I know that the SBDC sees that when they work with clients. A lot of times people don't really understand what their skill sets are, because if you're really good at something, you often don't see that as a skill. You just think that that's what everyone is, that's how everyone experiences it, or that's how everyone reacts. And it's not necessarily the case. So we're going to go a little bit into that as well. All right. So if you have the chat up and available, I would love to know, why are you even considering business ownership? What is it about business that makes you want to do this crazy thing like own one? Because it's a different world, right? It's not the same as having a W-2 job. So feel free to type it in to the chat. I also guest lecture at plenty of the universities. So I know how to sit here and be quiet and wait for you guys to chat. All right, yes. So some things that I see when people ask me, well, why business ownership? Success is a big one. Maybe money is important to you. Fulfillment, flexibility, independence. For me, it was absolutely independence. Working for the federal government for 10 years, there is no independence. You're part of the machine, right? You're a clog in the wheel. And that's the role and the job that you signed up for, but at the same time, no independence whatsoever. I did what I was told when I was told to do it. Yes, thank you, Austin. Happiness and independence for sure. Control was also a big one for me. Whatever you're deciding to do, whether it's go into a second or third business, leave a job for a business, turn your side hustle into a full-time business, why you want to do it is very, very important. Human behavior, we know this. We do things for a deep reason. And if you don't know what that reason is, then what are you even working towards? Because that's what's going to get you through the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. And there are plenty. So next I have, so how do you start? Where do you even begin to understand what type of business to go into? This may sound a little cheesy, but it's absolutely true. I know when I work with clients and when the SBDC counselors work with clients, you have to know where you want to go first. So begin with the end in mind. A lot of times entrepreneurs will jump into the what of the business or the solution of the business without really understanding their goals and their long-term objectives. So you really have to think, well, how do I want this to end? Is this a business I want to build and resell for a lot of money later? Is it a legacy that I want to pass on to my children? Or I haven't even thought that far. Is this a business that I want to own and operate for a short period of time, maybe 3 to 5 years, and then get out and do something different because I'm the type of person that likes to do new things all the time? Those are very important characteristics to understand about yourself, because that's what's going to help you determine how successful you're going to be. Always stick this slide in here. Business ownership, there are 3 options. You can start one from scratch. You can buy an existing one, or you can go into a franchise. I have done all 3. I have owned and operated 5 different businesses here in the Louisville area. One was a franchise, 2 I started from scratch, and 2 I bought as existing. 1 I bought as existing. Is that 5? Yeah. So there are various ways to go into business. Explore all of your options. Don't get stuck just in one. I think you will sell yourself short if you do that. Common sense advice for all people. Know these things before you decide and discuss business ownership. Know your net worth. Know your living expenses. A big pitfall I see in any business is not starting out with enough capital, and people are forced to make decisions based on their ability to maintain their life rather than making decisions on what's best for their business. And you don't ever want to put yourself into that position. Know your investment. Build a business model. Small Business Development Center has amazing tools to help you with a business model and a business plan. Research. Get advice from the right people. Any of these people on the call here are phenomenal people to give you great advice from. And consult and use professional advisors. Some of these people may cost money, but at the end of the day, a mistake costs a lot more. So definitely have your advisors, your CPAs, people that you trust to know to tell you the truth, even if it's not necessarily pretty. Very important for any business owner. So how do you decide on business ownership? First and foremost, know yourself, know who you are, know why you want a business, and know what motivates you. What is your motivation? What is your personality? And then what is your skill set? Oftentimes, these things are just as important, if not more, than the actual widget your business sells. And if you don't believe me, look at all these top 500 companies. You will, if you ever want to go into a senior or management role in any corporation worth their salt, they're going to give you some sort of personality or motivation or mindset assessment to see if you're the right fit for that job. Why wouldn't you do that for your own business? Make sure that you are the right fit for that business. What is going to get you out of bed in the morning? And what's going to make you continue to work, even if it takes a little while for those efforts to pay off, because that is really where your motivation lies. All right. So I am going to go through some values and motivations that we use when we assess individuals for business ownership. Some of you on the chat, I kind of recognize your names, and I know some of you have taken my assessment before. If you haven't, or you didn't have an opportunity before this call, that is perfectly fine. You can take it at the end. I'll be happy to go over it with you. But really what we assess for is 4 basic personality types. And if you've ever taken a DISC assessment or like the Myers-Briggs or any sort of personality or motivation assessment, they're kind of all pretty similar. They just may use different vocabulary. We assess for 4 different values that we call the BASE method: belonger, achiever, a societal, and emulator. I'm going to go through these really quickly just to kind of give you an idea. And I think it'll help paint a picture of why a business for a belonger may be a very different business than someone that's, say, an emulator or a societal. See if you can kind of figure out who you are just based on my very limited description. And at the end, if you still want to know, or you would like more in depth, you can take the assessment at the end as well. You can take it at home on your own time. Don't worry, there's no way to cheat on this assessment. So even if you go through this presentation today, it'll still be very accurate when you take it, I promise. Taking it like 5 times is always accurate. All right, so let's talk about a belonger. Maybe this is you. Belongers tend to be very conventional, conservative, family-oriented individuals. They really like established routines. So if you're someone that's very comfortable with an established routine, you like knowing what you're doing every hour of the day, you know, on Tuesday at 9 o'clock, this is what I'm doing. And at Wednesday at 3, this is what I'm doing. You might be a belonger. They're very brand loyal. They're very suspicious of new things, not impulsive at all. They usually don't like necessarily anything fancy or extravagant because they can tend to be very middle of the road. Maybe that's you. Family, security, dependability, relationships. If any of those words really resonate with you, you may be in a very have a longer trait. And I will tell you, belongers make phenomenal business owners, but only in certain types of businesses. Belongers do not, some of the risk and fears associated with belongers. So sometimes we don't know necessarily what we are, but we know what we are not, or the things that kind of make us sleep at night. Belongers hate being separated from loved ones. The idea of being separated from family is horrible. They never want to be seen as being irresponsible. And financial insecurity is really a huge fear. That is a very specific type of business. So if you're someone that really resonates with this belonger trait, something that's new and flashy and trendy would probably not be a good fit for you, just because you're kind of hardwired to be a little bit more responsible, a little bit more strategic, and a little bit more structured. So if you think that you're a belonger, that can be a very different and interesting business. Emulator, almost the opposite of belonger. Very impulsive, enthusiastic. They like excitement and they like adventure. They hate to conform. They are nonconformists, absolutely. They're very diverse and active. They love cutting edge technology. They love cutting edge products. And then I love this last bullet point down here, interested in their immediate future. This is just another way of saying that they're very into instant gratification. And I can say that because I assess out as an emulator all the time. I'm one of those people that if I'm going to give it 110%, I want to see results pretty immediately. If you are in this category, you can see how a specific business that might take a very long time to build might not be a great fit for you. If you're someone that is very instant gratification or really wants quick results, a business that takes 2 or 3 years to see a solid return would drive you absolutely bananas. And you may give up on it before you see the fruits of those labors. So that's really important to understand who you are. Prestige, recognition, challenge, success, huge words for an emulator. These are the people that really like to go after things because they like the competition and they like kind of being first. It's a big deal to them. Emulators hate to be embarrassed. Hate to be embarrassed. So if there is a business that will fail publicly, they often will shy away from that. Know that before you attempt it. They hate to be incompetent or inadequate. That's the worst feeling in the world. And they absolutely hate failure. In fact, emulators don't fail. They won't allow it to happen. So if that sounds like you, you might be a little bit of an emulator too. By the way, everyone is everything. We all just tend to have a primary and a secondary personality trait that really shines through. All right, achiever. That's the third personality type that we really, really look for. Very business oriented. These people are in control. If you've ever been described as a control freak, you might be an achiever. Committed to work and family. Definitely very structured lives, conventional. They like unique products and services, but only those that have already been established. So they're not as flashy as an emulator. But they do want more of the safety and security of something that's established, like a belonger. They can't resist a good deal. So I know my mother is an achiever because she cannot turn down a good deal. And then she'll tell me about the deal that she got. So that is absolutely an achiever. Their decisions must last for a long time. Achievers don't necessarily like to change their decision. Once they make a decision, they want to stick with it and they'll see it through. So it has to be a long-lasting decision. Control, results, power, achievement. If these words resonate with you, you may be an achiever. Risk or fears. Achievers hate not being the best or being unique. They hate not being in control. And it really bothers them if they can't replicate their success or if they cannot leave a legacy. So some of the greatest artists are achievers. Legacy is very important to them. Something that outlives them is an important factor in their decisions. The last personality trait that I assess for is the societal. Societals are interesting, awesome people, very sophisticated, very active, very much value innovation. And they are absolutely the ones that they have a very rich and diverse lives. So if you ever have a friend that's a societal, they may have friends that are top CEOs of corporations, all the way to guides that help you hike the Himalayas. Like, they have a very wide variety of friends and acquaintances. They tend to be very conscious of the quality of the product that they're either buying or selling. And they're, again, usually very highly income, highly educated individuals. Societals or your career students. So if you're someone that continuously go back to school and multiple degrees, you might be a societal. That's definitely something that may resonate with you. Knowledge, impact, contribution, empowering. Those are societal values. Now, if you can tell, a societal business may be very different than another business. If a societal cannot have an impact maybe on their community or in the lives around them, and that's very, very important to them, it's not something that's going to motivate them throughout that business. So it's really important, again, that you know who you are. Risk of fears: being ignorant or lacking knowledge. You will never catch a societal who doesn't know what's happening. Being manipulated. Societals hate that. And unable to make a difference. Absolutely. So it was very quick breakdown of the 4 different personality types. You can also pretty much correlate them to the DISC assessment if you've ever taken that, or again, even the Myers-Briggs. People change over time. We know that there are certain things that were hardwired, and there are certain things that can be an impact of the environment or just our life experiences. Where you're at in life and where you want to go can really absolutely have an impact. And I say all that to say that this absolutely, if you're going to open a business or invest in a business, that is a huge decision. And knowing who you are and where you stand is going to be very important. So what else do you need to know besides your personality traits? Skill set's important. What are you good at? What are you already good at? Maybe it's HR. Maybe it's leading and developing people. Maybe it's sales and promotion. Maybe it's technical and product knowledge or customer service. If you are not great at building and leading teams, I would not suggest you go into a business that requires a lot of employees. It's something that you're going to be miserable at. Why put yourself through that? So it's very important to understand your skill set, not just what you think you have. Really have an assessment to help you with this. Have people that you really well, or employees or employers. Hey, what do you think that I'm good at? They can often be some really interesting resources for you. Work style. How do you get things done? Are you someone that is very structured and likes to make decisions really quickly? Are you someone that's a little more relaxed and likes to think about it? Are you someone that's really in tune with other people's feelings, how the room feels? Or are you someone that's kind of like, I really don't care how you feel about it. Here's what we're going to do because this is what I say we're going to do. Those are different types of work styles that work better in different.
Well, it looks like we lost Amanda there, but she'll pop back on here in just a second, I'm sure. And hope you're getting some good information. I certainly have made some notes and see that that Austin has popped in and mentioned that happiness and independence is one of his traits and priorities. So if while we're waiting for Amanda to come back on, maybe if you would kind of share a little bit of what you know how you fit in there, which one of those categories you felt like that you best described you. Just go ahead and put those in the chat there. Let's see, just
what did you think that you fit into?
yeah, right.
Which one do you think you were?
Me?
Yeah. What are you?
I am kind of the achiever type. It's where I don't know. I could see myself in a lot of them, but yeah, I think mainly the achiever was the one I fit into the best. What about you, Janet?
Yeah, I think the same thing was happening with me as I went through and saw what Amanda was going over. I was like, yeah, I'm a longer, I like the routines and things to be already set and predictable,
Mhm.
Yeah. But yeah, they're all really interesting. Interesting.
Yeah. And I can see the importance, because, I guess being a business owner is a job. And if you think about it, so there's certain jobs that we've all had that we haven't been happy in. It's just because we didn't really have a good fit from a personality standpoint. It was just something that we weren't passionate about and didn't fit our personality. So, so this is the same way. The assessment that hopefully she'll come back on and talk about is pretty cool. And, we've all taken it. It's really eye-opening, kind of helps clarify, some of the attributes of a business that you'd want to look for. So any word from Amanda there, Jenna?
Sorry, no, I not yet, but I do have her slide. So let me go ahead and pull that back up. That might be helpful.
All right.
Hold on just a second here.
And then we'll be ready to go.
So, are you seeing that?
Yeah. Mhm.
And then we've got some people in chat as well. Dave, you see that?
Yeah. There's Maritza. How are you? It's good to see you. And Austin says he's seen himself in a lot of the other emulator. Yeah. There she is.
Thank you. I knew I was going to have problems when I saw the Spectrum truck this morning. Oh my gosh. One thing I was telling the team here, you guys, that I love about Zoom is there are filters and I look fabulous on these filters, but the problem with not being in person is you are a slave to technology. So
Yeah.
Actually, Janet, if you want to continue to share, maybe that will help me with my bandwidth.
Okay.
Well, that's a good idea. Okay, I'm gonna step aside here and let you take off, Amanda.
I mean, I was sharing such great wisdom and pearls of knowledge, and you all missed all of it. I'm sorry. All right. Yep. Keep going. Yep. I think we were through with the personality types. So keep moving forward. What else? Okay. Yes. Based on your personality. What else do you need to know? Next slide, please. Also, this reminds me of my government days saying next slide. What are your skill sets? We went over that. Hopefully that sunk in. Know what you're good at. There are a lot of people that spend a lot of time trying to figure out what they're not good at, and then, which is important. Know what you're not good at, but understand what you're not good at to the point where, maybe understand that skill set, but really understanding what you're really good at and focusing on that and being a superstar, what you already know, I think is worth a lot more of your time and effort. Okay, next slide, Janet. All right, work style. How best do you get things done? I think this is where I got cut off at. Thank you, Spectrum. If you're someone that likes to make fast, quick decisions, that's a different business and that's a different role in a business than someone who maybe likes to take their time making a decision. If you're in the emergency room, you want an ER doctor who is quick and decisive, not someone who, takes the poll of everyone in the room before they make a decision, right? Different business, different success level. Next. How do you make decisions? What's important to you? Are you someone that likes to work towards a goal? Or are you someone that kind of likes to avoid certain pitfalls? How are you hardwired? How are you best motivated? Next. How do you gather information? Are you someone that's very external, that likes feedback and to understand everyone else's point of view? Are you someone that's very internal and you have a kind of a code by which you already bounce things off of? It's important for what type of business, or again, what type of role in your business that you choose. Next. Chunk size. Are you a big picture thinker? Are you a details person? If you're a big picture thinker, details drive you absolutely bonkers. If you are a details person, the big picture can kind of tend to get in your way. Next. Decision-making sort. Are you optional or procedural? If you're someone likes to know a bunch of different options before you make a decision, or are you someone that likes to know the steps and you follow a process? Different business. Next. Oh, Mark Eddy, I see you in the chat. Hi, Mark. I'm glad that you're doing well. I didn't even know you're going to be here today. Other things to consider. Whenever you're considering business ownership, there's a bunch of other things to consider. Again, what are your values? What's your social intelligence level? Your emotional intelligence. If you're someone where the thought of being emotionally intelligent exhausts you, you don't need a business that works around a lot of people or that provides a lot of social programs to people. It's just not going to be your thing. What are your core competence, your work style focus, rules? How do you feel about rules? Do you follow them? Do you not follow them? Are you someone that likes to bend the rules, break the rules, find a way around the rules? It's a different business. Next. All right, so next steps. I threw these in here just as some general next steps that I give to all of my clients or all the presentations I do whenever I teach. Make a list for you. Start from the business structure first. Everyone starts with the product first. Don't do that. Start with the business structure first. Start with your top 5 must-haves. All right, so I need to spend part of my day outside. Is that important to you in your business? Working remotely needs to be an option so I can continue to travel. That was very important to me. First year I was in business, I took 6 weeks off to help my best friend move to Europe. It was fantastic. I was still able to work. I was still able to generate income across the world. I had to adjust myself for time zones. So that was very important to me. But I also had the discipline and structure to do that. If you ask my husband to do that, no way. If you let him out of his office, he's not working. But he knows that about himself. He sets himself up for success that way. Next. Build your business model. How many employees do you want? Are you a service or a product type of company? What type of customer do you want? It's not just what type of employee are you willing to manage. What type of customer do you want to interact with? What's your budget? Number of units, full or part-time? What type of business environment do you want to work in? Suit and tie, is that your jam? Are you working in your pajamas because your team's working from home? Or are you in between? Where do you land? What other items are important to you in your business model? Next. Again, don't choose based on a product. Choose based on your particular skill set. What are you doing as a business owner, not what is the business doing for you? Okay, there's that. We say this all the time. Separate the function of the business versus the function of the owner. You might like ice cream, but if you own an ice cream parlor, you're not eating ice cream. You're not even making ice cream. You're hiring and firing probably at a pretty high rate because it's a high turnover employee position, especially in today's job market. And if you can afford it, that's huge. We all know certain things sound nice, but if we can't afford to do it, don't do it. I know that's pretty common sense, but I always just like to make sure we say that. Next. What are your transferable skills? It's big. It's big. Management, sales, all the way down to technology. If you're someone that's sporting a flip phone, technology might not be your thing. Networking. Do you enjoy talking to people? Again, build that into your business model. If you're really good at that, that's a skill set. That's absolutely a skill. If you're one of the people that can walk into a room and you've never met a stranger, you're really good at networking. Probably have never labeled it that before though. Next. Know your funding options. Janet or David with SBDC can help you with this. I can help you with this. How are you going to fund your business short-term and long-term, especially in today's lending environment. That's huge. COVID has impacted everyone, including loans at banks and so on and so forth. So know what your options are, and any of us on this call can help you with that. Next. I should say use an expert, not and expert, to help. These folks on the call here, their website's there. If you're interested in franchising, that's me. I can help you. Take advantage of free assessments to help you determine your skill set. Guess what's going to come on the next slide? There's the assessment. So if you've taken this before and you recognize it and you would like a little more in-depth about an assessment you've already taken, please reach out to me. If you would like to take the assessment, it is free. It comes directly to you in your home. I would suggest you take it all at once. This code, you can take out your QR reader or your camera and scan this code. It takes a minute to load, just so you know. If that is not your jam, there's the website down there. You can input your email and it sends you a link to take the assessment. It's really, really helpful. Even if you're not sure if business ownership is right for you and you just want to know more about yourself and your work style and where you feel most comfortable operating, it's a really fun assessment to take. If you're someone who's very external and you love feedback, this will be right up your alley. If you're someone that's very internal and feedback's not that important to you, this is still interesting, but it's not going to be as important. Next, I think is it. Thanks, Janet, for putting that in the chat. And I think that's it. So that QR code's the same as well. That's me, that's my name, that's my picture, that's my cell phone number, that is my everything number. Text me, call me, carrier pigeon, that's fine. But I'm going to stop now. Thank you. I'm so sorry for my technology issues. Clearly, I should not own a technology company. And see if anybody has any questions and or turn it back over to Dave.
Yeah. So if you have some questions or comments, just go ahead and put them in the chat. We got a few more minutes that we can use with Amanda. So I suggest that you use this wisely and jump on that chat. Yeah, so Mark says that he has worked with you before and feels like he had a great experience and helped match him up with a great business. So he highly recommends you. He said, hello, Amanda. I think you said that.
Hi, Mark. So Mark's business is really cool. He does drug, DNA, and alcohol testing for employers. Definitely not what he did before. Completely different, but it suits his personality to a T.
That's good. That means Mark's happy then.
He's pretty happy.
So how long does the assessment take? And just maybe you can describe that a little bit for us.
Sure. So the assessment takes between 20 and 30 minutes. I suggest you take it all at once. It does say it'll save your results if you want to come back. I don't kind of trust it. Take it all at once. Take it when you're not going to be interrupted. Answer the questions how you would act, not how you think you should act, right? Be honest. It's only as good as the information you put in. There are 3 sections. One is open-ended questions about you, yourself. Tell me about a time when you were happiest. Tell me about a time when you weren't so happy. There are also some financial questions in there that will help you with funding options. As we said, that's pretty important if you're going into business. Where can you go for funding? What will you be eligible for? And then there is the sliding scale, different questions. I know that I kind of gave some of the personality traits away on this call, which was important that I think that you got it out there and understood them. But don't worry, you can't trick the assessment. So take it. It's really interesting, even if you just get your results and say, oh, that's nice, and then move on with your life. It's still a really good exercise and helps you think through what you're good at.
Mm-hmm. And then once that's done and you see the results and you're talking to somebody, what do you do with that information?
So I offer, if you take the assessment, you get your results, I get your results, I'll reach out to you. We will have a one-to-one session and go over them, any questions that you have. And then from there, we can kind of decide, well, what do you want to do? Is business ownership something you want to explore? If you're interested in franchising, I can absolutely help you. If you don't think franchising is your jam, we connect you with Janet or anyone at the SBDC to go over, well, what is the next step in your business venture? So it really is a great tool to help you explore, where am I at, where do I want to go, and how do I get there?
Yeah. So
I was
okay.
going to ask Amanda real quick, have you seen any change in trends as far as what people are opting to do post-COVID as far as franchise? What routes are they taking?
Yeah, well, so COVID impacted all of us, right? Or at least the lockdown.
Sure. Yeah.
That can impact our personality and what we thought was important. I can definitely tell you personalities have changed. What you thought was important 2 years ago might be very different now.
Yeah.
So it has absolutely impacted your personality wise. Business wise, it's absolutely disrupted the market. There are franchises now that are popping up that had their best year ever in the history of their franchise business. So as you can imagine, all of you, especially if you're at home with children and you're trying to figure out how to homeschool, or you did last year, having a space available to do that in is really important. A lot of home improvement franchises boomed during this time. Also, a lot of dog walking businesses. I say that because I have 2 dogs and they were driving me absolutely bonkers being home with them all day long, wondering why I couldn't play. I use those services. It's been interesting. It's been great to level the playing field. There's been things that have happened. You know, restaurants have certainly seen an impact, but there are also businesses that I never had even considered before that have flourished. Exciting. It's an exciting time to go into business.
Yeah. So Sachi says, Amanda, thank you for the presentation. It was very informative and knowledgeable. Definitely going to take the assessment.
Cool.
Yeah. And just to clarify again, so there's no cost for the assessment, or just to talk to you afterwards?
Nope. Everything we do is 100% free. We're just here to help you go into a good business that's not only going to be good for you, but also is going to help build our economy here. I think that's very important, especially after the year we've just had. Yeah,
definitely. That's very important. Yeah, so it looks like that's about all the questions we have. Well, Amanda, thank you for coming today. This was cool.
Thank you. I hope it was what you expected. I hope it met your expectations. I always love doing these guys with you all. I do apologize about I will tell you my Fitbit. I have a new Fitbit and it tells me when I'm stressed out. And about 5 minutes ago, it was like, you need to take some deep breaths. And I was like, I know. I appreciate you guys bearing with me through that.
Oh, man. Well, thanks for doing this, Amanda. This has been spectacular, really informative, and I really enjoyed it. You're a great speaker.
Thanks.
And thanks everybody for joining today. And if you think we can help you, please reach out to us at LouisvilleSmallBusiness.com. We're also a free service and we can help you with funding or starting your business. Take the assessment, reach out to Amanda. She's fun to talk to. She's a great person. And you'll enjoy having a relationship with her. So Amanda, thank you. And thanks everybody for joining us today. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.